In the summer of 2010, the year Instagram launched, there was a cricket invasion in Queens. Something to do with global warming, and if you believed my grandfather, yet another sign that America was lagging behind Cuba in scientific advances. He was not a communist, he just had a bit of a thing for Fidel. Dozens of crickets were under the floors and in the walls of our apartment. The landlord sent an exterminator, but it had little effect on their fornication. The sound was intolerably loud. My grandfather said that, back in Ecuador, summer nights in Esmeraldas were so loud, it sounded like, well, what it was, a beach and a jungle. I had not been to Esmeraldas, where he spent every summer as a child. Like him, I was undocumented, so I could not go to Esmeraldas, probably ever. I would probably never see the Amazon, and thus I would never really know a summer night. He would always have that over me. He knew in his flesh what I could only read about, and I read a lot. As a kid, I read for escape, and nothing could be further from watching a cockroach lay dozens of tiny eggs on the kitchen sink than Jay Gatsby and his amorous preoccupations. I could relate to some of it, his immigrant hunger and interminable longing. I'd been to Long Island. But the lives of Nick and Daisy and Jordan were incomprehensible to me. I didn't understand what they wanted or why they wanted what they wanted. Their main problem seemed to be boredom. The canon was white noise, and it was perfect. I spent that summer, which was the summer before my senior year at Harvard, interning at America's third most prestigious literary magazine. Does that sound like a setup for a romantic comedy? I thought so too. My expectations were high. During my commute, every single morning, on the L train between Bushwick and Manhattan, I just had a feeling Woody Allen was going to discover me. Rosario Dawson had been discovered on her stoop on the Lower East Side as a teenager. Charlize Theron was discovered at a bank. Toni Braxton was discovered at a gas station. I needed to be discovered because I wanted to get out of where I was. And according to Jay Gatsby and Joseph Kennedy Sr. and Theodore Dreiser and Jay-Z, I could do it by becoming a star. It was a long shot, but so was everything. If I didn't commit to Catalina, I would die of tuberculosis 2 decades ago, another uninsured girl at Bellevue, known only by her wristband. If at any point I stopped believing, the spell would break. To be clear, it was Woody Allen who would discover me because he was a local. Almodóvar lives in Spain, and Sofia Coppola might find me too busty. Plus, if there was someone looking for muses on the train, and if that muse was going to be a very young girl, for the verisimilitude of the thought exercise, it had to be Woody Allen. 4 years at Harvard had been presented to me like a trip to Disney World to a terminally ill child, and the end was coming. I could not be legally employed after graduation. Don't get me wrong, I wasn't legally able to work that summer either, but my lack of papers did not matter because unpaid internships did not pay, and I only applied to unpaid internships. Employers argued it was not work. Usually, the only people who could afford to do that sort of thing, move to New York for at least 3 months and live there without making an income, came from some kind of money, which kept that world small. But so long as I was enrolled in school and lived with my grandparents, I could do as many unpaid internships in media as I wanted. They could be like Pokemon cards. I loved newspapers and magazines as a child. I was the perfect age for highlights for children when I came to America, and within a couple of years I graduated to Reader's Digest, and then a couple of years after that I moved on to Time. By high school I was stealing old copies of The New Yorker from the school library. I had favorite writers, Alma Guillermo Prieto for the New York Review of Books, and favorite publications, the Oxford American. I had opinions about paywalls and subscription models and the sustainability of relying on billionaire benefactors. But my love for American periodicals was not why I wanted to be a writer.